In this lecture, we'll study about network layer. First, we'll go to the introduction. What is this network layer? The network layer, which is in the TCP IP protocol suite, it is responsible for host to host delivery of datagrams. It provides services to the transport layer and receives services from the data link layer. Then we'll see what are the services that are provided by this network layer. Packetizing, routing and forwarding, which and other services. In this other services, you can have error control, flow control, congestion control, quality of service and security. So first we'll see with a diagram. This is a diagram that is going to show the communication which is between Alias and Bob computer at the network layer. Communication between Alias and Bob at the network layer. The Alias is at source side and Bob is at destination side. Then there is a internet. That internet is made up of many networks or links and which are connected through the connecting devices. Whatever is the internet, it is an inter-network which is a combination of LANs and WANs. So when we observe the figure, it is clear that network layer is involved at source host, destination host and all routers in the path which have been labeled as R2, R4, R5 and R7 the routers in the path. Then when you see the Alias computer at source host, the network layer will accept a packet from the transport layer and encapsulates that packet in a datagram and delivers that packet to the data link layer. Then this is at source side. Now we'll see at destination side. At the destination host Bob, the datagram is decapsulated which has been received and the packet is extracted and delivered to the corresponding transport layer. The whatever are the routers in the path, they use 3 layers if they are routing packets only. Although source and destination hosts are involved in all 5 layers of TCP/IP protocol suite. Then, however, they may need the transport and application layers for control purposes. The router which is shown in the path is normally shown with 2 data link layers and 2 physical layers as it receives a packet from one network and delivers it to another network. Now we'll study what is this packetizing. This is the first duty of the network layer which is called packetizing. What it involves in this packetizing, the duty of network layer, encapsulating the payload, that is data received from upper layer in a network layer packet at the source and decapsulating the payload from the network layer packet at the destination. Encapsulating the payload in a network layer at the packet at source and decapsulating the payload from the network layer packet at the destination is the first duty of network layer called packetizing. Then when you put it into another form, one duty of the network layer, what is the one duty of network layer, is to carry a payload from the source to the destination, is to carry a payload from the source to the destination without changing it. So one duty of network layer is to carry a payload from the source to the destination without changing it or using it. So without changing it or using it is to carry a payload from source to the destination is one duty of network layer. Network layer is doing the services of a carrier such as postal office. So this network layer service is like carrier such as postal office service, which is when we see the post office, what they do, they are responsible for delivery of packages from a sender to a receiver without changing or using the contents. Okay, then source host, whatever it is, receives a payload from an upper layer protocol, adds a header that contains the source and destination address and some other information that is required by the network layer protocol, and delivers the packet to the data link layer. So it and adds a header that contains the source and destination address and some other information that is required by the network layer protocol, and delivers the packet to the data link layer So source is not allowed to change the content of payload unless it is too large for delivery and needs to be fragmented. So only fragmentation has to be done by the source only if it is too large for delivery of the packet. Otherwise, it should not change the content of the payload. Whereas the destination host receives the network layer packet from its data link layer, which is below that at receiving side, decapsulates the packet and delivers the payload to the corresponding upper layer protocol. If a packet is fragmented at the source or at routers along the path, the network layer is responsible for waiting until all fragments arrive. So if a packet is fragmented at the source or at routers along the path, the network layer is responsible for waiting until all fragments arrive, reassembling them and delivering them to the upper layer protocol. So what we have seen, the routers in the path, whatever are these routers in the path are not allowed to decapsulate the packet they received unless the packets need to be fragmented. Only they have to fragment the packets. They are not allowed to decapsulate the packets. Routers are not allowed to change source and destination address either. They just inspect the addresses for the purpose of forwarding the packet to the next network on the path. However, if a packet is fragmented, the header needs to be copied to all fragments and some changes are needed. So this is about packetizing. Next we'll see about routing and forwarding. The other duties of the network layer are routing and forwarding, which are directly related to each other. Now we'll see what is this routing. Whatever is a network layer, it is responsible for routing the packet from its source to the destination. A physical network, which is a combination of network, LANs and WANs, and routers that connect them, meaning that there is more than one route from the source to the destination. So a physical network is a combination of networks, LANs and WANs, and routers that connect them, meaning that there is more than one route from source to the destination. So there can be more than one route from source to destination. The network layer is responsible for finding the best one among these possible routes. So out of how many possible routes are there in the path from source to, the network layer will find the best one among these possible routes. The network layer needs to have some specific strategies for defining the best route. So whatever is the network layer, it needs to have some specific strategies for defining the best route. Today in the internet, this is done by running some routing protocols to help the routers coordinate their knowledge about the neighborhood and to come up with consistent tables to be used when a packet arrives. So this is done by running some routing protocols to help the routers coordinate their knowledge about the neighborhood today in the internet, and to come up with consistent tables to be used when a packet arrives then the routing protocol should be run before any communication occurs. So whatever routing protocols are used, they should be run before any communication occurs. Next, we'll see what is this forwarding. If routing is applying strategies and running some routing protocols, then to create the decision making tables for each router, forwarding can be defined as the action applied by each router when a packet arrives at one of its interfaces. So, to create the decision making tables for each router, forward can be defined as the action applied by each router when a packet arrives at one of its interfaces. Okay, the decision making table a router normally uses for applying this action is sometimes called forwarding table and sometimes the routing table. The decision making table, whatever it is, a router normally uses for applying this action is sometimes called forwarding table and sometimes called routing table. When a router receives a packet from one of its attached network, it needs to forward the packet to another attached network or to some attached network. This router will use a piece of information in the packet header that can be the destination address or a label to find the corresponding outer interface number in the forwarding table. So the router will use a piece of information in the packet header that can be the destination address or a label to find the corresponding output interface number in the forwarding table to make the decision. Now we'll see about other services. What are the other services are? Error control, flow control, congestion control, quality of service, security. So you can see the forwarding table, forwarding value A, B, output interface 1, 2, then forwarding value if it is B, then it goes to 2C. Send the packet out of interface 2. Send the packet out of interface 2. B and C can be same or different. So this is how is the diagram showing the forwarding packet table. Forwarding packet table. Next we'll see about so this diagram is illustrating now we'll see about other services. First we'll see error control. Although error control can also be implemented in the network layer, whoever are the designers of the network layer in the internet ignored this issue for the data being carried by the network layer. Why they ignored this issue for the data being carried by the network layer is the reason is the packet in the network layer may be fragmented at each router, which makes error checking at this layer inefficient. Packet in the network layer may be fragmented at each router, which makes error checking at this layer inefficient. So whatever design they did, the designers of the network layer, however, have added a checksum field to the datagram to control any corruption in the header, but not in the whole datagram. So they added a checksum field to the datagram to control any corruption in the header, but not in the whole datagram. This checksum may prevent any changes or corruption in the header of the datagram. The network layer in the internet does not directly provide error control. The network layer in the internet does not directly provide error control. Internet uses an auxiliary protocol, ICMP. So whatever is the internet uses an auxiliary protocol, ICMP. that provides some kind of error control if the datagram is discarded and or has some unknown information in the header. Okay, next we'll see about flow control. Whatever is this flow control, it regulates the amount of data a source can send without overwhelming the receiver. So regulates the amount of data a service can send without overwhelming the receiver is flow control. If the upper layer at the source computer provides data faster than the upper layer at the destination computer can consume it, rate of generation and rate of consumption, or if they are different at source and destination, then receiver will be overwhelmed with data. To control the flow of data, the receiver needs to send some feedback to the sender to inform the later that it is overwhelmed with data. The network layer in the internet, however, does not directly provide any flow control. The datagrams are sent by the sender when they are ready without any attention to the readiness of the receiver. What are the reasons for lack of flow control in the design of network layer? We'll see one by one. One, since there is no error control in this layer, the job of the network layer at the receiver is so simple that it may rarely be overwhelmed. Second, the upper layers that use the service of the network layer can implement buffers to receive data from the network layer as they are ready, and they do not have to consume the data as fast as it is received. Third, flow control is provided for most of upper layer protocol that uses the service of the network layer. So another level of flow control makes the network layer more complicated, due to which whole system will become less efficient. These are the reasons for lack of flow control. Next we'll see about congestion control. Whatever is a congestion in the network layer is a situation in which too many datagrams are present in an area of the internet. If too many datagrams are present in an area of a internet, then congestion is a situation in network layer. Why congestion may occur is if number of datagrams sent by source computer is beyond the capacity of network or routers. Then some routers may drop some of the datagram. But as more datagrams get dropped, situation may become worse because due to error control mechanism at the upper layer, sender may send duplicates of the lost packets. So if the congestion continues, sometimes a situation may reach a point where the system collapses and no datagrams are delivered. So if congestion continues, sometimes a situation may reach a point where system collapses and no datagrams are delivered. Next we'll see about quality of service QoS. As the internet has allowed new applications like multimedia communication, then QoS of the communication has become more and more important. Then how the internet has thrived by this, providing better QoS to support this application, to keep the network layer untouched, these provisions are implemented in the upper layer. Then about security is the last other service in other services. Security is another issue related to communication at the network layer is security. Today security is a big concern. To provide security for a connectionless network layer, we need to have another virtual level that changes the connectionless service to a connection oriented service. So today the big concern in the internet is security. So to provide security for a connectionless network layer, we need to have another virtual level that changes the connectionless service to a connection oriented service. So with this we'll stop today here and we'll see you next lecture.